Okay, so I'll be honest, I had to dig a little deeper than usual to find something to talk about with this chapter, because, well, this is one of those times where, while there were cool elements of cool nuggets of information, you gotta dig beyond what I kind of had to dig beyond what I hated in order to find something to talk about. For example, one of the big things we do get in this chapter is basically Hien's backstory. That in a sense he's in fact royalty, but more so in the sense of being a lord rather than a prince. As from his flashback we learn that Hien and those who were basically in have shared the root of Fenrir are he was known as the young demon lord of Fenrir Fort of level 306 of the demon realm. And this is one of those bits of world building that's implied but never explicitly stated outright by Mashima, because with this knowledge of Hien being the lord of Fenrir Fort, especially at such a young age, it's never explained how he became a lord, although from hearing Hien's goal of why he wants to become a demon king, and doing a little bit of of recollection and looking back on chapter 1 where Honey, I think, talked about Hien and the Fenrirs. This this chapter definitely implies that, well, it likely wasn't the fault of the Fenrirs for turning level 306 into a winter wasteland. That they still got, I think they still got recognized for that fact itself and became the royalty of level 306 because of that. So, if this is one of those things that does make me interested to know if Hien were to accomplish his goal, what would what would that do to the Fenrir standing in demon society? Because again, from what we know, it's because the Fenrirs were accused or were accused of freezing over level 306 that they became the royalty of that level. So what's going to happen if Hien tries to basically tries to basically like fix fix 306 and make it to where it isn't a winter wonderland? Is that going a winter wasteland? Is that going to change their standing in their standing as royalty or something like that? It's kind of an interesting question to ponder. Although I will admit I have been spoiled on what happens in the next chapter, and because of that, it's gonna the he let's just say Hien wanting to accomplish his goal might be a little more difficult after this chapter. Um, with that said, though, this chapter does mark a turning point for Yakuto's character, at least, as we see him finally learn to control his limited power in a way where he can utilize it in a straight up fight when he punches Cougars into a bookshelf. Although at the same time, there are still quirks he needs to work out, mainly how long and how many times he can use it. Uses Black Dragon Fist, because just from that one punch alone, he was already getting a little exhausted. But to be fair, he had been also fighting this whole time, so it will be interesting to see how he does in a more controlled combat situation where he's a little more at full strength. But either way, it's another step of showing his improvement. Although I also gotta say, I think losing a bit of his power is ironically making Yakuto more feral, because that declaration of calling Cougar his prey, that was definitely an animalistic aspect of that panel that made me scared of what Yakuto may be coming. Because if he only has limited if he only has limited power, then what's going to become? Then he may just there's no way for him. I think he just may end up becoming more feral and more animalistic, ironically, just from not having as much of his power. Um, Now, I will say one thing I'm really mixed on with this chapter is that it simultaneously made Cougar both better and worse as a character for me, because within the flashback itself, we see a genuine respect Cougar has for Hien and how they generally are they became more than master and servant. They did grow to become close and genuine friends, and I do like the moment near the end of the chapter where Cougar does acknowledge Hien has found strong allies to depend on, and I really do I really do like how Mashima didn't in fact like develop this friendship. Where my problem lies with Cougar is a problem that I seem to be having more and more with Mashima's style of writing, which is I really disliked Mashima's like pervy humor that he installed within Cougar. Like it's with Cougar. I need to understand. It's with Cougar specifically where it feels like Mashima's usual like dirty, pervy, hopeless romantic type humor feels very distracting and does make it a little difficult for me to sympathize with this character. Again, I still do like Cougar, but it, again, it's weird because I I still like Cougar and Hien's friendship, but Mashima's usual touch of making a character more comedically pervy, it just doesn't work with Cougar for me. That's the only way I can describe it. And like, I'm sure I don't know how else to describe it other than it doesn't work as much as it should. I think it didn't work in the way that Mashima might have intended, at least for me. Um, and yeah, of course, the chapter pretty much ends with the vice principal when the vice principal of Dead Rock takes notice of Yakuto and the others in the library. So this saying, yeah, they're after the books. So this can only end in so many ways of wrong now, and that the closer that this is one of those interesting turning points for me where it's really revealing the closer they get to the truth, the more dangerous this whole endeavor to kill God is going to become. In fact, I don't I don't know how Mashima plans to make this how long plans Mashima to make this series, but with him already like ramping things up to this extent already, just from seeing the principal keeping tabs on them, I honestly believe this is. I honestly believe I think Dead Rock might actually become one of Mashima's shorter series, maybe only clocking it in around 50 to 100 chapters. That's my guess, but it's just kind of what I'm thinking. If Mashima's really ramping things this up, I don't think we've got many chapters left, frankly. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, push the notification bell, the subscribe button, and just hit the run, guys. Dark Knight 20, signing off. Later, everyone.